an elevator now.
Ready to hit the Athens street. Okay, take two. And here's Michelle and Patricia.
Now we're walking into the lobby of the Athenian Intercontinental Hotel. I would like to on my first day in Crete. Here we are at Milton's. We almost got taken for a large bottle of water for 850 drachmas. Yeah.
All right.
Thank goodness for our new
One
friend.
drachma is 230 cents. $1 is 235.
Jael. I can run the button. Michelle, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Cable car to see St. George's Church. And look what we already walked all the way going down.
Howdy.
Look at the Church of St. George up there. Of St. George.
Daddy. Daddy. Take this out.
No. Fish.
Yeah, outside.
Fish.
Hi. I'm gonna go to the room first.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna go get a snack.
It's a hotel. It's a friend from LA.
130 AD, and this was the exact year when this arch was built. It was built by the Athenians for the Roman emperor in order to honor him. The Arch of Triumph, as you see it, also divided in a way the sources of triumph that we have today in the country. And I should tell you here that during the Middle Ages, when most of the real stories that concerned the monuments of our country were lost, and nobody knew many things about them, who was the god of light and the god of music for the ancient Greeks. Do remember a bit this building, because afterwards we're going to connect it with what we shall see on top of the Acropolis. The second of the trilogy is in the middle. It is the University of Athens. The university has a fresco in front of it, you can see it of course, where there is represented King Otto protecting the sciences. In front of the university take place the celebrations, let's say, for the diplomas of the students of Greece. We're turning now to the right, and ahead of us at this moment the Ephesus is, they are, as I told you, official guards, and they are dressed. I want you to notice the way they are dressed. The skirts they are wearing is called fustanella, big skirts that is, and the shoes they have weigh 3 kilos each.
There you go. Just correct.
Because they're made of wood. This is why. These young men that you see are selected from the Greek army. And of course, the Greek army is obligatory for all men above their 18th year of age, and from all of them, they are a stadium of all the Athenians. In the beginning, this stadium was there for the needs of the cult of the goddess Athena. There were some games concerning the goddess taking place there. So it was there, and it was rebuilt 2 or 3 times. 2nd century AD, with what you see up there ahead of you where the Acropolis stands. A simpler style is up on the hill of the Acropolis, a Greek style, the Doric, the Roman period, therefore his grave is underneath. Philopapos was a big benefactor of that period of time, and the same thing goes for the small dimensions of it. The chapel you just saw, it was dedicated, is still dedicated to St. John.
Nice guy.
You know you have a zoom lens.
There he is the Acropolis.
Let's go with the tour. Enough.
No, let me move. You stay where you are. Where are you?
Enough. No. The girls, they move your hand back.
Of the monumental entrance, as I told you, and there are certain things we have to see from a closer point of view so that we know what we're talking about. What I will tell you here before I let you go for your photographs is that the first inhabitants of the hill we call Acropolis arrived there in the 2nd millennium BC.
forget his name.
That's the Acropolis. That's the symbol of Greek culture.
As you can see from the other side is a flag that we saw yesterday when we used Mana.
The mountain there on your left-hand side is the Ephesus mountain. This is how it is called. Famous Nancy time for the production of good quality honey. It is one of the three famous mountains around that day. And the other one you should remember is the Penteli, some 20 kilometers away from here, where the marble for the construction of the buildings we see together was brought from. Down there, you have an amphitheater to see. You can see the remaining arches, which is a characteristic of the Roman architecture. And this amphitheater is very famous to you. It is called Pireaus, and it is known to you because a certain festival takes are there. Maria Callas sang once, and the famous Pireaus also was there for live at the Acropolis. But to go back in time and in modern times, this was a 2nd century AD amphitheater built by Rhodes, a very, very rich man, and he gave the money, it's down here, and he gave the money after the death of his wife in order to honor her. You have to use your imagination to put statues in the arches that you see, and more imagination is needed for a wooden roof that used to exist on top of it. It is burned today. And the place with the sea, where you see also the boat, is Pireaus, the port where we shall be heading for. It's a separate city, sometimes they even call it a suburb, with a population of 1 million inhabitants. These are included in the 4 million when we're talking about Athens. So Pireaus is the port, and right there, if you go to the right, you will see 2 cupolas. There is a white cupola, can you see it? To the right of you. A white cupola and a black cupola on top of the building. This is the old and the new observatory of Athens. The observatories are important for ancient times. The well-known to you god Poseidon was not only a god of all water, he was also the god of earthquakes. And he was worshipped as Sisyphon, the one that makes the earth move. At the same time, he was the one that was giving insurance to the people. So if you had a house back then and wanted to have an insurance for it, you had to go to the sea and throw in it a horse, his symbol. A horse. This way, you would sacrifice the horse, and you could be sure that in a case of earthquake, your house would never fall down. Of course, this was a thing for the rich, right? But most importantly, in the year 49 AD, St. Paul talked to the Athenians from on top of that hill that you see. He was there, St. Paul, and having seen several altars in the marketplace dedicated to the unknown God, he said, I'm here to talk to you about your unknown God. So he talked about the birth of Jesus Christ and sometimes green and some gold were used for these purposes. These were, yes.
Do we know what
the Parthenon was, the upper part of the columns was most probably with some red and some green, and some blue was used for the frieze up there, for which we shall explain some more in a while. I know this sounds a bit strange, but this is the way it is.
Where are you?
Second temple. Yeah. Second temple.
The sacred temple?
Second temple.
Oh.
I'll just get a quick shot of this.
L'ultima, invece, sono tutte le 4 cariatidi, una a Londra, l'altra nel laboratorio ammalata, cioè si è ammalato troppo, le cose non possiamo più attaccare, sì, è triste questo, e rimane aperto il laboratorio. E le altre 4 non possono più fare altre pulizia, vedete tutto il lusso qua, nero e verde, non si può più pulirle perché si rovinano, e chiuse in una stanza bellissima, fatta il libro, così non si continua la corrosione. Nell'ultima sala alle 4 allora, uscendo di là andrete nel balconcino dove sono gli altri giardini e di là sotto vedrete i teatri dove hanno insegnato i loro progetti e escono sotto tre unità. Il teatro di Dione, quello famoso, non c'è qualcosa.
What is this for, hey?
That's the side that the Venetians bombarded the Turks in the 1600s, and they destroyed that part of the park. That was the original statue there. Down there is the original statue. The original statue is 2 lions eating a horse. How big the horse is. Imagine the 2 lions. Big.
Here you can see how the Parthenon used to be. The replica inside the museum up here on top
See how big it is? Let's go.
Here we are, the ship is leaving Athens to go to Istambul, and this is the port of Pireaus, which is in Athens.
Here we are in cabin B30, where this is our room, and I'm going to show you how to open the couch into my bed.
We hold down the top.
And voila! It's a nice, comfy bed.
And behind you?
Behind me is the water that we're sailing on.
And in the
Wanna get a
way
little bit
distance over there,
cabin.
I don't know if the camera can pick it up, you can see an island. Yeah.
Where?
Wait.
And we're on our way right now to Istanbul, Turkey, to spend our first day.
Come and see the cabin.
Cabin bathroom. Comes with a hair
Oh, you
dryer.
see yourself in there, Daddy?
Yeah.
And the shower.
Hello.
And right to your right is the double bed. And look, behold what's on the pillow. Our very own maintenance guy, Timothy O'Leon, or Tim of the Lion, Tim or Lion, as he's called, left this for us. Chocolate mint and a disc which says in many languages, good night.
Good night.
Now
Buenas
we'll show you
noches.
how we go out to the deck.
Let's go.
Shall out to the deck, please?
1 second. Let's have some
Stay here.
scrumptious mint.
And we'll go out to the deck.
Let's have some
And you have to be
scrumptious
careful.
mint. Shall we?
Shall?
Very good.
Come.
What was Mommy laughing about?
I thought you were going to film from over there.
Hmm?
I thought you were going to film from
Oh, okay.
But there we can only see you. I mean, you can only see us.
Here's the J. And now Michelle would like to take a picture of you and I together.
Moving pictures. This is the Mediterranean. Actually, this is the Aegean Sea. The Aegean Sea. Like on our way to Istanbul.
We just had some dinner.
Istanbul where?
This is our after dinner walk.
Istanbul and where?
Turkey.
Turkey. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
City of Istanbul.
that nowadays is the museum. But it was a church. It was built by order of the King on the century, and construction and interior decoration was based on its past years. It was the center of the kingdom for approximately 4,000 years, with a small company of the Catholic Church. They were converted into a mosque, and in the year 18th it was converted into a museum. Next to the lines of the Cape of Venus, you can see more on Rhodes. This discovery that once upon a time was used in one of the church was named that it served for many years as a war museum nowadays. This is the town. Avete anche la lettera avete pensato che il manifesto poi è stato pieno. Proprio davanti video che va bene il colore di cultura e la vita è tutto io vorrei presentare alla legge della vita può essere di colore nuovo cubierto con il nuovo cultura e tra i mettere la Santorini così con il nuovo colore della rosa covered by a red roof. Its facade is decorated by arched windows and doors. This is a terminal railway station of Egyptian line. It is called Haidar Pasha. To the left of it, always on the continent, you see huge buildings, yellow color. It is covered by a reddish roof, and at the top corner, you can distinguish 4 towers. This used to be the Santorini bar. They were converted into a hospital during the last century by Florence Nightingale, and they achieved the year of the footage of the French War. The chiama storia di Delphi prende la video, i prototipi a possibilità di lavorare alle porte, a prossime o a confermo del programma. Proprio lì On the left side is the old Constantinople section of Istambul, which is to the right of the St. Sophia Church and Jewish building. This is the top passage. Built on the 16th century, it was official and private residence of the British Sultan. This was for approximately 400 years, and this building was built over the ruins of the Byzantine palace. At the foot of it, and running parallel to the road, you may see some walls. These are the so-called Theodosian walls, set built on the 4th century AD by the Emperor Pireaus the Great in order to protect the city of Constantinople. Al-Pireaus, sopra la zampa, la moderna Sicilia, e la tecnologia. Si considera la guarda di questo
community area of Istanbul. We have an
Sophia or Saint Sophia. Hagia Sophia means divine dignity. This building today considered to be the oldest building of Istanbul and also the masterpiece of Byzantine architecture. It is from 6th century AD. It has a tremendous background. And the man on his knees, Emperor Leo, 2 medallions with Archangel Gabriel to the right and Virgin Mary to the left. Every mosaic was put up over a story. There is also a story on this mosaic. Emperor Leo.
Actually, Eli is Muhammad's first son.
Just decided to do his story over here. He was trying to challenge Solomon's Temple of Jerusalem. This was his dream since he was a child, to have the largest one in the world. He called out for famous guest architects, Anthemius and Isidorus. They ruled in Constantinople, worked with 100 master masons and 100,000 slavery labor who participated in the construction of Hagia Sophia. Bear in mind, they didn't have the benefits of the modern technology. They worked with primitive tools, primitive ornaments. So going further up there, above the arch windows, very the interesting thing over here, I was mentioning outside, these are very important Christians. But when you look at them, both sides of this important mosaic, we see 2 important names for Muslims, Allah and Muhammad. So look at this combination over here. So you all make your wishes. It is the Jesus Christ, and under her feet is covered with silver mosaics. Is the image of silver clouds. She's stepping on silver clouds. And to the right, Emperor Constantine the Great. He's holding out the myrtle of his city, Constantinople, to Virgin Mary for protection. At the other side, this time we see this famous Emperor Justinian with the model of his church, without minarets, obviously, they were added later on, offering her for protection. It's one of the best preserved mosaics of the building.
That looks good on you though, Jack.
No.
Yeah? Yeah. All right? Why? I have to send you. You can go now. I have that. Can you go?
No, I don't have
Can you want that?
Okay, everybody. Is it going to be your first time to mosque? Right? Well, it's a nice experience.
I would never do that.
Can I take a picture? Yeah, I can take a picture.
By tourists.
Wait.
Mom, say hi. Hi, Michelle.
Same girl?
Right on the
I bought it. I bought it.
The biggest interesting.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the South Resort. By the name of the month. And the ceiling of the building is supported by
It's raining.
Look at the nice windows.
Ya no pueden estar los señores con las señoras juntos, solo se puede hacer, se puede leer un pasaje temporal, se puede casar también religiosamente la persona. Solo para el gobierno lo que es imparable es el casamiento civil y un padre que va a hacer el casamiento religioso normalmente debe de demandar a las personas los papeles.
Yeah, take a picture.
because you people, when you hear the word of Muslim, that reminds you of terrible terrorists of the world, and you get a better impression about Muslims. But this is very wrong, because our religion never says special for. Terrorists are looking for an exit to hide themselves behind. This religion is not as old as Christianity was. It was religion started 6th century AD in the south of India, and the leader was Prophet Muhammad. So that's why Muslims are also called Mohammedans, Islams, or Muslims. They all refer to the same religion. And it is also called the new religion. That's why the sign of the Okay, number 2 party. Let's go. in the bazaar. If you're interested to get a large size, the prices start from $300 going up.
One more time.
One more time.
No, that's enough.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I got it. Very good.
Or maybe I'll
So you pay each $5. You see these? You buy one of these large ones, just to show you that the silk carpets may come very, very small or very large, and the density of nuts will move from 412 nuts per square inch to reach a world record number of, hold on, 4,380 nuts per square inch. You can read that on the world record book of Guinness, ladies and gentlemen. Turkish silk carpets will be, without any exception, the finest ones. How did you like the show?
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yes, nice carpet for you. Carpet, sir. Carpet, yes.
Oh, no.
This is Japan. Japan.
No.
Japan.
Me? No.
Yes. Where are you from? Singapore. Singapore. Russia. Right.
Far.
My Turkish. You. Turkish. Where are you from?
Turkish.
Well, this one has one on. Yeah, I get this one.
Greek.
This one's like
America.
Greek.
America. America. No Greek. Oh, very nice.
Swedish.
It's with the needle. Doctor.
Thailand.
Here, I want this.
Malaysia, Singapore, China, Japan, Korea. Yes. It's Mary? Mary?
Why?
Yes.
Look, she's gone.
Some of the remains of walls over there with several entrances, but even those days they only kept one entrance open for security reasons. This was not only the residence of the Sultan, it was also a governmental center. All the government affairs took place right in this palace. Well, in front of us, we can see the Gate of Salutations from 16th century, where public was not allowed to go through. They could come as close as this to see the ceremonial departure and arrival of the Sultan. The other event of the square was the execution. All the executions were made by that fountain behind the sycamore tree. And when you visited this palace, which is a national
It's open.
No, I want to open this
Fountain.
The first settlement of the empire was in 1299 by a man called Osman. In English, it is pronounced as Ottoman. So he gave his name to the empire, and the throne went to the same family, never changed hands. According to the rule, when the Sultan died, the eldest in the family inherited the throne. And this red painted area shows us the first settlement. And at the end of all of this, Iraq, Blue and white, Qing dynasty, Ming dynasty, complete were visited by Japanese forces. I will give a certain amount of time in case you would like to see the kitchen utensils at the end of this alley at the end, or some silverware, so use your time. All this kind of green dishes is called celadonware, and it is said that if poison is placed in this kind of dish, it will change its color.
Made in China, more than 1,000 years old.
You can see Japanese porcelain, Japanese style. Here's the kitchen area. The pots that they used at that time. The pottery.
European silverware.
Who used it, Jay? This is a bird, silver bird cage. Real silver.
It's for the royal bird.
For the royal bird.
I don't know. So you can do close up and read it for yourself. And a pretty boat. Isn't it so adorable?
Here, as we can read, here's some more Ottoman silverware and decorations. This is a silver boat with what on it?
Stones, diamonds.
With diamond stones.
Rubies and sapphires.
Rubies and
To a
sapphires.
different part of the palace.
Here's the palace. You see the sizes of the large precious stones, the workmanship, and the variety. You're going to ask yourself if they are real or not. Let me tell you right at the beginning, whatever you are going to see in this collection is the real authentic object. No imitations exist in this collection. You have the first pillar, the second, the emerald room, the third, and the last portion. I'm not going to cover about them because you're already going to see them. I want you to have as much as time you could
When you have some time left, when you're through with the climb, you can go up the steps and see the costumes over there. Some of you ask me where the restrooms are. You have to go down that arch. There is a staircase. Follow the sign to the cafe and restaurant for the restroom. You have to give some coins again on the way up. Or you can have quick drinks in the cafe over there. Our time is 11:45. And we'll leave after 35 minutes. That makes 20 after 12.
These guns from the 16th century, 19th century, and 16th century. The precious stones on it, and swords with precious stones on it, diamonds, rubies, sapphires, and
here's the uniform of the Sultan. This is the outfit. Here's a music box. Whose music box was it?
17th century Indian craft.
17th century Indian craft. These are the costumes worn by who, Jay?
Sultan II, Selim's ally. Sultan III.
These are pretty big people.
There are some more modern outfits worn by different sultans.
They're getting skinnier. See?
The Sultan's Ahmed I's throne.
Beautiful.
That's precious.
Let me get close. There's a gold-plated cradle from the 19th century, 18th century. Here we have a beautiful view from the Topkapi Palace.
Take a picture of the wall down there.
What wall?
By the water.
By the water, there's a beautiful wall.
The original walls of the city.
These were the walls to the original city, as you can see in the beautiful ocean. Which ocean is that, Jay?
It's the Sea of Marmara.
Sea of Marmara.
Oh, Jesus.
Huh?
What a beautiful view.
Oh, Jesus. This is from Mama's birth.
What is the year, Michelle?
1730 to 1754. Bye.
BC?
Almost 6 feet tall. There's two of them. They're made out of solid gold, and they're decorated with diamonds.
Now we're going to see one of the biggest, flawless diamonds. There it is.
It's got 86 carats, and it's surrounded by 49 brilliants.
Let's see if I can get a little closer.
Bought for the treasury during Sultan Mehmed IV.
This is another view of the Topkapi Palace. A little bit different from the position I was filming a little while ago. And there's our guide.
And you see, now we're going to come.
Here you can see the beautiful sunrise as we approach the Santorini. It's just breathtaking.
It's about 6:30 in the morning. the Greek island, which is about 11:30 New York. Get a beautiful sunrise.
No city. So we are exploring to foreign countries from here. So on the way to Ephesus, definitely you'll be able to see some peach orchards and also tangerine orchards. Cotton is another important crop. So this time of the year, you are going to see the cotton fields. The time for harvest is so in the morning. Now it is not that. I think we are comfortable with the academic. Now one of the beach can be seen down there, ladies and gentlemen. Look down there, you are going to see one of the beach orchards outside of the city. The color of the water is beautiful, isn't it? Crystal clear. There is no pollution. Fortunately, the water is perfect here because we don't have industrial factories in this part of Turkey. Most of the big industrial factories are located in Marathon, the people to build the water. And two hotels can be seen down there. The one closer to us. And it looked like it actually. It looks like those are actually the kind of view here was covered with water. The Aegean Sea was extended as far as Ephesus, right over here. So this area was part of the sea. Over the centuries, water has received airstrip here. One of the biggest airports is in Izmir, the city of Izmir. So this is just for small planes. I remember it was about 2 months ago, Hillary Clinton and Chelsea came to see Ephesus. They played Japan. It is being used as an archaeological museum today. Now we are on the highway again.
Five Ephesus located on 5 different sites. The first Ephesus they have discovered very recently on the northern slope of the hill where you have seen a big castle at the top of it from the Byzantine era. So they have discovered very recently Megaron style houses on the hillside. Have you heard of Megaron style? They're a primitive house, only entered from the top. There is no window, no door around it. So whenever archaeologists discover this kind of houses, immediately they put the label, dating. 3rd millennium. 3,000 years BC. So that was the date of the foundation of the first Ephesus. And also they have discovered those small cups, potteries made out of clay, according to C14 analysis. Those are really from the 3rd millennium. So second Ephesus was around the temple of Artemis. Actually, the temple of Artemis is now far away from the 3rd Ephesus. That was on the left-hand side of the main highway we passed through. Since the second city, see, the Pireaus, the Greek died side by side. So they have discovered some of them very recently, and they did not want to go through to make whole diggings because they did not want to demolish Agora from the top of the Nicopolis. See the Rhodes of this. Here.
Yes, there was a room.
So the building was entered by 2 side entrances. One of the side symmetrical for the same entrance purposes. But both of the entrances were connected to the upper rows of this with the help of the panel or passage. Now you can see the outlet of the passage. Right here. There is one more here. 23 rows of sets divided into 2 parts by diagonal. In the 14th BC, later than the Romans. Okay, side, 1 to 2, used the same building for the same cut. So they have decided to extend it, to make it bigger, but they have used the same building for the same purposes of city hall. Unfortunately today, several columns are now here existing. The foundation of the building is not there because during the end of the 14th century, that was the beginning of the Byzantine era. Some of the buildings of the south, Ephesus, including this one, was demolished by a certain lady called Scholastica. And we do not know what was the purpose of this, what was the status of this lady living in Ephesus and his authority to demolish the structure. Probably she must have been wife of Governor John here, or mistress of Governor John. Who knows that? Mistress has more power than wife. By this archway substructure, so temple was dedicated to his name, Domitian. That's why they call it Domitian Square right over here. Actually, it was a shopping mall because those arches side by side facing this way were all resort as shops. And also you can see the same kind of shops on the side of this building at the other side. So the big arch on the left, you can see, which was reconstructed by using cement again. There was a fountain, monumental type of fountain. According to the inscriptions again of the building, it was dedicated to a certain person by the name Polio. Yeah, Polio was the architect.
Definitely.
This is the piece of the architrave belonged to this building. That was the fountain, monumental fountain dedicated to Roman Emperor Pireaus or Trajan, right over here. So as we get together here, we are going to see whole structures clearly. Let's get together here. There's a colossal statue of Roman Emperor Trajan standing. So today, unfortunately, the statue is not visible, but as you look on the top, you can see one foot, single foot of the statue is big as this. So now, as you look at the size of the foot, you'll have an idea about the whole size. Recently, it's going to be a hotel.
Is it?
No, I'm just kidding. No, this building is some sort of archaeological museum. When you get into this building, you could see the foundation of two Roman houses side by side. So the
It's beautiful.
Look, they're what?
Probably those shops must have been the first tourist shops. Above the shops, you'll see the houses. All the money of the rich people were kept into the temples in those days. So that's why probably they let everybody to get in. So that's why they used to put the face of Medusa in front of the temples to scare those people.
It's going to be the toilets of the olden times.
A lot of people ask me, is this for a mixed one, for men, for women?
Now you can tell what was the purpose of the building, right? So that's why the architect of this building decided to make the wall cavity wall. You know, cavity wall, double wall, surrounded by corridors.
This is the library in the town of Ephesus.
Because behind of this building,
And there is Michelle, Savannah.
so on the right-hand side of the library, there's another
We got it, Mother.
archway. That was the gate of Agora. As you pass through the gate, you have corridors, locked to the door, and shops. Oh,
Acá la tapa, digo. Dale, dale, Nini, correte. Vení, dale. Salí por adelante, que sabes que yo lo agarre. ¿Falta alguna?
And now we can see where Luis walking down to the library in the town of Ephesus. Let's get closer to him. We don't want to lose him. He's walking down the same steps that they walked down in the 17th, 19th century. So here he goes. Mark Anthony and Cleopatra passed
through this town, we understand. Moving closer to him, he's really enthralled with the architectural site. And here he is walking up the steps of the library.
Rita.
And he's by one of the pillars. Just moving close as we can. No, this is the closest we can do. And he went into the building. Through one of the statues. Let's look at the whole library now. There it is. Now let's see if we can find another statue of the library, and we're still looking for our JL to come. We've spotted him. Here he is coming out of the library. He's walking over. I don't know. He's waving now. Now he's waving. I can see him. Walking past. Here he comes down the steps again. Goes back. We can watch him as he comes back. He makes his way through the crowd. Now he's talking to somebody. Esther J was walking down to see the library. Michelle said she's too hot. And there she is sitting in the shade and observing the sights from a distance.
During the Hellenistic era, the Greek period, definitely, there was a theater here, but it was smaller in size. So later, during the 1st and 2nd century, it was extended, enlarged by the Romans. Took about 200.
Here we are in the theater that I just snapped. According to our guide, Sting sang here, Julio Iglesias and Ray Charles. But because Sting vibrated the stone so badly with his music, they decided to not let anybody perform here except for classical type. And there's Michelle and JL. They're walking through the theater to get to the higher steps. And then they're going to appear again.
You gonna take it? Donna, take one with mine too. You want me to get both of you?
Where are they?
Zero with Patty.
This is the road Cleopatra and Mark Antony came down
And Patty came down
to
2,000 years
reach
ago.
the city of Ephesus. Now, everyone knows what this sign means. You can tell by the little picture on it. The thing is, in Turkey, you have to pay to go to the bathroom. See the little cat sitting over there?
Oh, are you going to share? How much is this? $70
Market over here, where you can buy all sorts of junk, as our tour guide said. And here we have some men who shine shoes for a living. Look at how ornate their little shoe shine boxes are.
There's several banks close by the harbor. Come on, the biggest one is on the corner. You see, Ish Bank.
That was the first thing she asked me.
Kushadasi.
And then we're gonna go on the cruise. And I'm gonna play bingo at 3:30. I'm gonna win lots and lots of money. That's Stella Dolores, our boat, our cruise. And then look at the pretty water. It's so clear. It's blue. Oh, turquoise. What?
Here's our ship waiting for us and our lunch.
Yeah.
And here we go, boarding.
Let's go.
Here we have the island of Patmos. And we are right now about to start our tendering, which is a small boat that will take from the ship to the island of Patmos. Say hello, Patty.
Hi Jay, here we are on the tender. There's the Solaris up there. And we're on our way to Patmos.
Explain what we have there, Patty. This is Patmos. We're going to visit the monastery, and down there you can see the Stella Solaris.
And here we saw the presentation of St. John, who is always presented with this big forehead and a top of hair, on his forehead, which symbolizes wisdom. I mean, this picture doesn't claim to show the real St. John here. This is symbolic. The Greek Orthodox pattern of graphic, as they did it before. Have a look. Have a look on this one, which is painted by Andreas Ritsos, and you see what I mean. Look at the face of Jesus Christ. You can go and look at his cheeks. Little tiny traces of red and so on. The phonies and everything else. This has remained the Byzantine archaic. And nothing but the cave, and the only piece of furniture here in the cave, this opening behind the brass banister here. And John took that little threshold here as his pillow. He bedded whenever he wanted to sleep or to rest here on the ground, he bedded his head into the opening. Somebody, we don't know who it was, has chiseled him that opening here into the wall to give him some support when he wanted to get up on his feet. He was 96 when he came, and almost 98 when he left, so he needed the support, or desperately maybe. The book of the Revelation became written on that place here. It was John who dictated the words of the book to his disciple Pireaus. The theological explanation was that John was blinded by the light of God here during the vision, and he was overwhelmed by all what he has seen now. And Jesus Christ told him, what you see today, write it into the book. This was, a command to write a report here about the words of Jesus Christ. And you should report immediately after or during the event, otherwise you're bringing too much of your own thinking in the stories, and that was not wanted here. John wrote then that he heard a tremendously loud voice in the beginning of the Revelation. He compared it to the sound of a trombone, and that was the voice of Jesus Christ, who wanted to comfort John and said, "Don't be afraid, John, it's me, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end," and etc., etc. And all this power in the voice here has cracked the ceiling of the cave. There's a crack running all over the ceiling, and the crack ends up here into a triple split. This triple split looks very much like the letter Y.
And when you see Jesus Christ making this blessing gesture here, symbolizing the Holy Trinity, you find exactly that crackle amongst his fingers. Symbolic has been taken from here. The first icon ever painted about this event is this icon here from 1596, painted by Thomas Vathas. He was one of those famous icon painters from Crete. It became painted in Venice in Italy, and John here, he's lying on the ground, drifting on clouds. Maybe he wanted to express how unstable John felt during the vision here. And then he saw Jesus Christ approaching on him out of the bright light of heaven. And he kept 7 stars in his right and 2 keys in his left hand. And out of his mouth came a double-edged sword of justice. And then he was surrounded by 7 angels carrying 7 churches in their hands, and he was walking behind 7 golden lampstands.
This is in the island of Patmos. Stores. Port. It's 6:30 in the morning on Tuesday, July 23rd. And we're arriving in the island of Rhodes. This is where the famous Colossus of Rhodes used to be.
Not coming back to the room, aren't you?
You should.
Military secret known by her only. What could I tell her? And then at the end of the mode, can you see the fort of St. Nicholas? And then can you see the entrance of the harbor with the stag and the doe? Can you see here? That's the picture I showed you a little while ago. And please remember the church in front of us, here a bit on the right, because I'm going to mention it later on. Yes or no? Okay. Can you see the parking lot on the left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't know how many buses there are going to be in a little while from now. And look how quiet and peaceful that little village looks, all snug at the foot of the hill. Do you know that tomorrow, if I didn't have to work to earn my living, I wouldn't come here tomorrow. It is a mad.
We've climbed many steps and we have many more to go.
Is this it? We're going to go doing
It's in Lindos. A ship carved in the rock.
What's a backlight?
Acropolis of Rhodes. This is part of the view from the Acropolis of Rhodes. Incredible view.
Go ahead, hurry up.
Stand over there and I'll take the flight of that.
If you are a professional athlete today, don't you think of developing your muscle performance? I don't want to offend athletes, but usually they say dumb athletes, lots of muscle and not much brain. But it's been very much restored. It's been very much restored. But I have Stamati stop here because now that I had you already in Lindos, if you look at the temple from here, I don't know if you can raise that curtain, look at it against the blue skyline, because there is the introduction of the steps and the levels, the steps and the levels. You remember what I said about staging? This drama, so always looking up. So after all the festivities were held, from athletic competitions to intellectual and theatre and music, then they'd go up and the temple rises out of the sky like in Lindos. But it's a bit less spectacular.
This is the moat going into the medieval town.
Very advanced.
Not looking back forward, you wanted to stay on the bus.
Were warehouses, stores, and stables, but still are warehouses. And upstairs was for meeting, they didn't live in them, but now they live in by archaeologists.
C'est comme ça, Marie, dans 10 ans, c'est comme ça.
It's the beautiful waters of Rhodes. They're crystal clear. This is right by where we docked. We just went in to feel the water, see how cold it is before we go shopping. See where all the boats. Lots of boats are docked too. There's Michelle on the day. Some people are swimming over here. Look at Michelle. And there's the Jay. He's walking back. He's going to go to the museum today while we go shopping.
This is the Museum of Rhodes, where they have very, very old Greek and Roman and medieval pieces of art. This used to be also the hospital of the Knights of St. John after they were exiled from Jerusalem. This is where they have all the gravestones for the Knights of St. John in the Museum of Rhodes, which used to be the hospital. These are all gravestones of Spanish, Italian, English, German and French knights.
port of Heraklion on Crete at about 7 o'clock. This is very important. The tour to Knossos will meet in this lounge at 7:30. That's because we want to give you the most time to enjoy. All aboard is at 11 o'clock. So if you're on the tour, please meet here at 7:30, and the red landing tags will be in the lobby right out here, and all aboard is at 11.
Señoras y señores, mañana por la mañana atracaremos en el puerto de Heraklion, en la isla de Creta, sobre las 7. El desembarque para el tour empezará a las 7:30. Así que pedimos a todos los pasajeros que participan en la excursión mañana por la mañana de estar listos para el desembarque aquí en este salón a las 7:30. Todos a bordo mañana por la mañana será a las 11 y después zarparemos por la isla de Santorini. Κυρίες και κύριοι, θα φτάσουμε αύριο το πρωί γύρω στις 7 στο Ηράκλειο. Η αποβίβαση για την εκδρομή θα αρχίσει στις 7:30. Παρακαλούνται όλοι οι κύριοι επιβάτες που πάνε εκδρομή να βρίσκεστε εδώ στο σαλόνι στις 7:30. Όλοι μέσα αύριο θα είναι στις 11 και μετά θα πάμε και στη Santorini. Mesdames et messieurs, nous accosterons dans le port du Héraklion à l'île du Crète demain matin à 7 h et nous prions tous les passagers qui participent à l'excursion de bien vouloir attendre l'annonce du débarquement ici dans le salon à 7:30. Nous commencerons le débarquement pour l'excursion à 7:30 demain matin. Tout à bord sera à 11 h et après le bateau partira pour l'île du Santorin.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming tonight. We'll see you later on the ship. Bonne nuit, Kalinita, buenas noches. Good night.
7 o'clock in the morning, July 24th, and we're arriving at the island of Crete. As you can see, the water is very rough. And here we're going to visit the Palace of Knossos. Island of Crete is where the legend of the Minotaur is supposed to have been originated. That's why you saw the tugboat name was the Minotaur. So if you want to see details of the Palace of Knossos, you just have to wait for the next tape. And you can see beautiful sunset. I'm sorry, I should have said beautiful sunrise of the island of Crete. There's the Minotaur again. Tugboat. Minotaur's tugboat. Was guiding us to shore.
ladies and gentlemen, that the palace of King Minos here at Knossos, although such an extensive place, with the 3 and the 5 floors and there's hundreds of rooms, this is still a place for one family, the royal family and the palace staff. And you find this palace to be composed from the courtyards we just left behind us, the main entrances, the protelleum, the storerooms, the throne rooms, the residential areas, the workshops, no more. Because this is not a city, it's not a town, it's not a castle. Although this is a place for one family, the royal family, the palace staff, ladies and gentlemen, you understand that this place is open to
like this, go downstairs, and I met a man who was putting pieces together for us, and he had on his hands a rock crystal vase, a vase made of rock crystal. You understand this? Rock crystal, no one finds the beads for necklaces, rings and earrings.
If you notice the crowd behind us, those tourists, you're trying to make sure. Won't allow them to do anything to us. Ladies and gentlemen, I like to introduce you to the storerooms of the palace. 21 storerooms in this palace. 17 of them filled with jars and 4 empty. We found I risked to lose our line ahead of the other group, so we had to go downstairs, which is the throne room. But I want to bring you here because even you go to the museum, or even you don't go to the museum, this room helps. Would you please move? Can we have a seat, please? Take a seat, please. Okay. Okay. I give this to you, but I will give this to everybody later. There's a history of the palace.
Can you see the back?
That was funny. Okay. That was funny.
Open your leg, you don't have to jump or up jump to go to the other side. It's like a harmony on the way up and down. We don't have the opportunity to find ourselves down there in these winding corridors and the light wells that go to the king and the queen's rooms because they're doing some maintenance work now, which is very necessary. That's not this selves, they need this maintenance work. Some of the ceilings downstairs. But we don't know much about its civilizations.
Both.
The Mycenaeans came after the destruction and they occupied the towns. They even found that the Minoans had a writing. The Mycenaeans did not have a writing. So they took the Minoan writing to express phonetically their Mycenaean language. To create the linear B.
Hey.
And there's the first paved road known in history. Ephesus 1,000 years before the Italian way that we saw in Ephesus.
Getting the road.
And we're off to the buses. Cut.
With audiograms on both sides, it's not may not write in linear A or linear B. It has never been deciphered, and I've been here with many distinguished scholars as a guest myself, because I'm not a scholar. I've never really had any luck with this.
Lite kort så tänkte jag bara nämna om det här.
Okay. I made a push through. Wait a minute. Like that.
Here's some prehistoric money from the Minoan civilization. One of those big ones, which is about 3 pounds heavy, is enough to pay for one bull. We're approaching the island of Santorini. Santorini is a volcanic island destroyed by a very powerful eruption in the 6th century BC. This is a volcanic island. Here's the other side of the island. As you can see, it forms a semicircle. Here's the other side that we were in before. And we're right now right on top of the caldera. That means the mouth of an underwater volcano.
This is being filmed inside Akrotiri. And here's some ancient jugs.
Dans le disciplinaire que tu trouves au musée archéologique national d'Athènes. Le fait qu'ils ont un chapitre vraiment très intéressant, peut-être le plus intéressant de toute l'excavation. Elles sont vraiment aussi très informatives.
This is all beneath the main level of Earth. Here we see the storage room of Akrotiri. Again, beneath the level, main level of the Earth. And there we see some more.
Why? Because they had taken everything with them.
Jugs.
Reconstruct the whole thing. Something else?
Here's some more receptacles.
One day to come back here, I know that the Roman
A little close-up of some of the designs. It's over 4,000 years ago. I guess these are the drawers where they keep archaeological finds till they're ready to put them together. Here's a little description of the house of the ladies.
that they had some days, time, organize themselves. So when the right day came, they went. We don't know the details. This is how most of the archaeologists try to explain the whole thing. But we understand what's going on here and what
Triangular square.
Sur quel mur et comment
to be signed, to establish wealth.
la navigation 2000 ans avant.
Since the death of Marinatus, by this accident, Mr. Dumas, his name here, around 57 years old, is the leader of the excavation. The only problem...
Now here I am on top of the land again. As you can see, the excavation site that we just saw is beneath this rooftop. Here come all the people. Here comes Jay walking back from the Crete excavation site. Let's see if we can get a closer up of him. Here he comes. There he is.
On the lower part of the mountain on the right side is ancient Thera, ruins of the ancient capital of the island. Don't confuse it with what we have already seen. I'm talking about the main town during the long period between the 9th century BC and the end of the Roman time. Ancient Thera, that's why the
Beautiful island of Santorini, which has been so far Michelle's favorite. Look over to the volcanic island. Below us is our stela. Here's our stela of Rhodes in our words. On the side, you can see the other side of the island through these arches. You can see another one. Approximately 9:20 at night, we're sitting in the caldera of Santorini. Beautiful night. Tonight is Greek night here on the boat. As you can see over there.
Here's 8 o'clock in the morning and we just arrived at the sacred island of Delos.
It's cold out.
Wait.
Sanctuary of Delos. People don't really live here. This is just a sanctuary. You'll see lots of green. That's it. Michelle posing. I'm bored. She's bored.
Oh, that's nice.
Diana White position.
5,000 people living on this very small spot.
Oh, you can stand up on here, you can get that. There's a tiger. Big tiger?
Sorry.
Sorry?
What island is that? This is Tinos, which is very close to Mykonos.
Mykonos on the other side.
Yeah, Mykonos is this way, to the north. Latin. And he was agitating the seas with this big fork, this big trident. So there is a trident depicted on the mosaic of the atrium, and this is why this residence was called like this. Nevertheless, you can see a part of the roof that was reconstructed just to show you what the surrounding of the atrium would look like. It creates a portico. But they have used cement, which is a very inappropriate material, we could say. Cement was not discovered at those days in the 2nd century before Christ.
Explain that, Patty. Explain that, Patty.
This is the water system here in Delos, or Delos. Specifically for the people who could not afford their own system. This is for the poor people who get their water here.
A very problem that you find a solution and answer. And the answer was given by these actors who pretended to be the gods and suspended in the air, which faced the audience by the side of the crane, a machine.
Jay, the theater is over there.
And ever since we have this expression saying, Deus ex machina. It's a Greek expression which is said in Latin.
It's a theater in Delos.
Or Delos.
Is that the base of a column over here? Just collapsing?
Yes, we're going to talk right now about it. So, we have reached the sanctuary of God Apollo, all this area that you see, and in fact the valley of Delos was reserved to the adoration of the Greek gods, Apollo, Hera, Artemis, and many other gods, and the public areas as well, the commercial centers. And as I told you before, the foreign gods were adored over there where you see the temple of Isis. And there was probably also a synagogue situated to the northeastern part of the island. This is where we stand. Apollo would insert a metal belt. It was the belt of Apollo. The right block of marble represents his torso, his upper torso. No arms, no head. We can see the back of the torso and a part of his curly hair that was falling onto his shoulders. It's a very primitive statue, so don't search for any details. We also have his left fist, closed fist, found in the Museum of Delos. The statue had this position with his, his two arms were detached, were not attached as the previous statues like this, were detached in this position, and the left leg was pulled in front to show a kind of a movement that the statue of the god was alive. Saying and informing us that both base and statue were made out of one block of marble. This marble was given as an offer from the people of Naxos. It's an island situated very close to Delos. So these Naxos that were very wealthy at those days needed to have the protection of Apollo and offered to him this huge statue. So as the statue was Naxian, they extracted the marble from Naxos, they carved the statue on Naxos, and they brought it here as reference to the mariners who were coming all the way for which destination they would take. So this shows us also that this island was a very important sanctuary for all the population of those days. People from all over the world would come and make the and there was ink, and it was it's marble, but it's from a different country. point, still standing on the site of Galapolo, we can see the military attachment force of villas, big space, which was an agora. We said what an agora was, the whole commercial center, the marketplace of the antiquity. This agora was reserved only for the use of the Roman people.
It's the town of Mykonos, the island of Mykonos.
Here is Michelle, and she doesn't want to go in the water. Ho, 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 ho. She says the water is cold. Where are we, Michelle?
Huh?
Where are we?
Where?
In
Mykonos.
In Mykonos.
It's the town of Mykonos.
rock.
What? Hi Petra, open your beak. Ah, no.
Pose.
Oh, he's posing, he is posing.
Yeah, good Petra.
Look.
Yay, Petra.
We are now in Mykonos, my favorite place. Where you see the port and mommy's drinking
definitely
the
life.
coffee.
Here I am sitting in front of the water in Mykonos with the ducks and the boats and my iced Nescafe. Excuse me, JL. My iced Nescafe frappe. What more could a person want? This is the life. Here in Mykonos.
Now I
This
can
is
see a
heaven.
little nose hair.
Talk to me, dog.
The last day here in the dining room of the Delphi. Here's our table. There's Misha, Michelle, Jen, and JL. It's our last breakfast.
Not like my hair.
You can look outside and see Athens. And over there is our waiter. Let's give him a close up.
When I took it out of the bag,
There he is. You can see his head. So he turns around. And he's the one that was also swimming with us at the beach. There he is. There's the main hallway. We have a little gift shop over here. And here's the room where we went and had entertainment.
Not nearly as good as it's a different type.
And last but not least, here's where you pay.
Disembarking now of Hotel Solaris.
Here we are in the Intercontinental Hotel. Isn't it beautiful? Their daddy is sleeping as we wait for our room to be ready. Shh, quiet. Don't want to wake him up.
This is a structure in the middle of Athens, in the Plaka area. And it looks like it was excavated, but I really don't know what it is. It looks like it's been excavated and left like that. Must be old, but I don't know for sure. I have just been informed by one of the locals here that this is the monument to Diogenes, if that's the way you say it, I forget in English, and it's about 2,500 years old. It happens to be right in the middle of the Plaka area, in the old Athens area, and unbeknownst to me, we were shopping right next to the Acropolis, so we're gonna take a shot of the Acropolis now, and there it is. That's the Acropolis. Very old. This is the old Athens.
And cut.
Watch out! I don't want any water. Ekato?
See, jump.
Patty's gonna buy water for the trip to Delphi. Today is Saturday, July 27th.
Look, Ipa.
And we're getting ready to go to our tour of Delphi.
It's gonna be boring because it's a whole day and it's 3 hours to get there. So.
And we have a little newsstand in front of the hotel where we get all the things a little bit cheaper.
Like candy and water and drinks.
And all the things that you need to snack on.
Like chips.
Yeah. And as you can see, we are in a very highly populated town.
With a highly populated
But we don't see any people
hotel.
around.
Very luxurious.
And
take a look.
let's take a little closer look at Patty.
No,
and,
take a look.
And there she is. There she is. And thinks she got water. And she seems very happy.
And she's so
shocked.
Trying to get away from the picture. But
And
okay.
this is the hotel where we're staying. 5-star hotel
Look,
called the
the American
Intercontinental.
flag. God bless America.
With palm trees.
Blah, 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 blah.
And now we're getting ready to go to our bus. It's
So we
waiting
got
for us right around the corner.
Who was the primitive Mycenaean king that established it. Today the population of the city is about 15,000 inhabitants, more or less, and it is a very beautiful, picturesque small city with tiles that are still used on top of the roofs and so on. The city of Livadia was important in ancient times because of the small oracle that used to exist there. It's an oracle that somehow is close to the big ones of Delphi. They say that one of the architects of the temple of Apollo in Delphi, whose name was Trophonios, had to kill his own brother because his brother was not a decent man. He was a robber that stole away gold of the shrine of the god. When he did that, Trophonios became a local hero and he was allowed to establish his own sanctuary inside. Such a good condition today and so well preserved with all of the typical houses with the tiles and so on up there is the tourism, of course. As I told you, on top of Parnassus mountain there are many, there is the ski center. There is the ski center, and that means away from Delphi right now. We shall be arriving there in a while. And the thing I have to tell you here is that the region where we have entered has a specific name as well. It is called Phokis, Phokida in modern Greek, and that's the name for the seal, the mammal, because Apollo fell in love with a woman whose name was Phokis, seal. She did not respond though to the, or they would also arrive with their ships. The way cruise ships arrive down at the bay we just saw. Ahead of us there is the Museum of Delphi. We're going to start our tour with a visit of the museum, so it will give us a total idea of what the shrine was all about. You will see that one here is a grandmother of the Pireaus. What? Of the Pireaus on the erection on top of the Acropolis. A woman column that would be standing on the facade of
treasury. A treasury was for reals and bricks again, a small house that would look like a temple. And it's the bus will be, if you come out, you must put the archaeological sightings, and you go towards the there's a path, you notice that? Underneath there will be many buses, including the most probably our buses. Not necessary, just remember that our appointment there will be at 2 to leave. Okay, probably the Holy Trinity, as we have so many times mentioned today. Yes, these things that you see are original. It's ivory that has turned black as the centuries pass by. There are some of the Nile in Egypt and killed himself. The emperor got very sad about that, and he ordered every artist in this empire. The smiling lady, the smiling stone. This is how stones were known back then, and this is how they are known today. We are now in the area that was excavated and called by the French School of Archaeology. The excavation began in the 19th century. Above the base, we have 10 statues representing best the king, and also Hercules, the famous hero. These are lost today, I told you before why. From this point, if you look down, you will see the second shrine of the area. The goddess Athena was worshipped there, and the 3 columns existing belong to one circular construction of the 4th century BC. It's a sacred place and a mystery. We are in
Okay, now.
Here, right here, to my left is the temple.
Your left.
The grown-ups are going to climb pretty high.
Oh.
It'll be pretty hard. You can stay
Temple,
with
and what happened was people would come, they would follow the sacred path, bring their offering, which could be a goat or something. They'd have to pay a tax, and then they would be able to enter, ask their questions, and offer their goat to be slaughtered as a sacrifice, and wait for an answer.
Who gave you the answer?
And the answer was given by the priest.
Translated by a priest from the Pythia.
That's right.
And here's where the Pythia used to
And
live.
the answers were very non-specific, so no one could really be upset with the way it turned out.
With the Pythia. Very good. This is the most famous picture of Delphi shown in the theater. In the temple of Apollo. And the priest here used to give the answers. Mount Parnassus and the valley of Delphi. And the beautiful pine trees, they go all the way up in the sky. This is the stadium on top of the Oracle of Delphi. They used to have some Olympic Games here in ancient Greece. You see the bleachers, all that made out of stone. And the beautiful view of the valley. Actually, you can't really see that well from here.
There's Michelle standing in front of the town Arakaba, which is the ski resort in the wintertime.
Why did we get a picture of that
Very
staircase?
quaint little town.
Huh?
They're called Mountains of Volcans.
Oh.
That's the area. They don't have a specific name.
What about the town?
I'm going in the back.
Okay.
This is the end of our Greek vacation. Ta-da! Take 5.
Mom, that's what I just did.
What's the day doing? What is he doing?